So here we are again, setting sail for Roscoff from Weymouth. I've spent over 30 days in Weymouth. Not a choice really. I was waiting for the animal health certificate to be arranged, where you've got to have a rabies injection and then wait for 21 days, and the vet was on holiday as well. So now just about to set sail. It's 6 o'clock in the evening, so I'm going to be sailing through the night. It's about 150 nautical miles over to Roscoff. But the weather looks pretty good. Very, very light wind, so I'm going to be doing a lot of motoring. However, this is 3 days after Storm Amy, so it's the calm after the storm. So hopefully I'm going to get in some good sailing and the sun comes out. But it's 6 o'clock, I'm going to be sailing through the night, and hopefully dawn will bring a lovely sunny day as we head towards northern France. And amazingly enough, over the weekend there's been a pirate weekend here at Weymouth. So they brought this galleon in, which is actually a functional boat, to celebrate the pirate weekend, which I must admit was very, very blustery for them over Saturday and Sunday. But it's a shame because there's not a breath of wind now, and it would have been great, wouldn't it, just a few days the other side. But look at that sunset with the galleon there in the background. So we've actually made it under the bridge, as you can see. There's one or two other boats going through. Heading along past the harbour, where I've drank many a cup of coffee and had a breakfast. Chit chats with the harbour master. And a lovely sunset to be setting sail to as we head out. And it's pretty on both sides of the harbour entrance. Really nice. And I don't know whether you've noticed, but I've actually got a spray hood on, which has been supplied to me with a canopy. So a nice canopy to sit under while we make our way over to France. I've done loads of boat jobs while I've been here for the 30 days. Painting and doing work on the boat electrics, fitted battery chargers and things like that, solar panels. I've got 3 solar panels now. I broke one, so I ordered another one, and then I managed to repair the broken one, so now I've got 3. So hopefully when the sun comes out, I've got plenty of juice to power all the systems that we've got on Mystique. And the Weymouth lifeboat, which I hope I don't need, but it's a real beautiful piece of kit. They're kept so beautiful. The crew spend hours and hours polishing, cleaning and fettling. So hopefully we don't need them on this passage. Right, so I'm going to knuckle down, figure out my direction, and off we go. I started off from Weymouth on my way to Roscoff something like 27 hours ago now, and when I set off there's a beautiful sunset, and the next day here I am in just approaching Roscoff, and there's the most beautiful sunset again that I'm arriving to. So it's a real scorcher illuminating the sea, and it looks absolutely fabulous. So I'm hoping that Roscoff is going to be good fun. and it's over there somewhere in the distance. I've got about 8 nautical miles to go. I haven't got the sails up because I've done the whole of this passage on the motor. So that's 27 hours of the motor running continuously, and that's because after Storm Amy I thought there'll be a bit of wind just to carry me over, but it is quite good conditions. But it's absolutely no wind whatsoever from Weymouth all the way to Roscoff, something like 170 nautical miles. So I did put the sails up, and all they did was flap around for about 4 hours. So I just kept the motor on. Luckily, I had a full tank of 170 litres of diesel plus these 3 jerry cans, so that's another 60 litres. And I think I've used all of that, and I'm just scraping in with it just above empty. The cats are down below. I think they're a bit peed off now. I've given them lots of fuss on the journey, but they're locked away in their safe space as we approach Roscoff. So let's see what the French have got to offer. Just thought I'd give you a bit of a synopsis as to what I've done in the last day or so. So just going to show you the chart. So here we are, started in Weymouth, and I tracked all the way across, starting at 6 o'clock at night. See the bearing I've got there, 215 degrees. And by the time I'd got to this, what they call traffic separation zone, so the top arrows going left is where all the big container ships and tankers are going left, and then there's a space, and then it's the same at the bottom. I actually crossed through that, and at 4 o'clock in the morning, in the middle of the night, I counted 63 big tankers in that area. I was counting them on the AIS system, and as I was sailing along, I was avoiding them, obviously keeping out of the way, but one sort of came within half a mile of me, unexpected, and it scared the shit out of me. I'm going to tell you, it was a massive ship, but still I was only half a mile away. So yeah, by the morning I was down here where this rosette is here, and then into Roscoff, and got into Roscoff about 6 o'clock last night, and I was really glad to get there. So quite a trek across there, but I did it. And to be honest, it's now kind of set me up to think, well, okay, if I can do that, you know, I can get round here through this tidal race here, and then below here is the Bay of Biscay, and I've got all the charts for that. So if not, I've got to go all around the inside of the Bay of Biscay, you know, bit by bit by bit by bit. But there's still a long sail across the North Spanish coast where there's not really anywhere to pull in, so that's like a sort of 2-day sail anyway, across the North Atlantic coast. Sorry, across the North Spanish coast. So kind of, I'm thinking I might go for it if the weather's good. Thought I'd just show you Mystique in Roscoff Marina. So here she is in all her glory, with a nice livery, and amazingly enough, a really beautiful spray hood that Moat Sails in Portland did for me. And it was just going to be a spray hood, but he put the canopy on the back as well, and that's really nice because it keeps you out of the rain. And you can see I've still got my Q flag, which is a yellow quarantine flag that you have to have on before you get checked in by the customs. So I shall take that down now. Chesney and Ralph are inside, and we're going to go, I'm going to put them in the buggy, and we're going to go for a coffee at the nice Marina Cafe there. But yeah, you can see the 3 solar panels. If you remember, I broke one when I screwed it down. That one I broke, so I bought a new one which I've screwed onto the front, because I've actually repaired this one with some of that film that you put on broken windows, which is like super sticky. So now I have 3 solar panels, wide in series. According to my brother, that's the best thing to do, and down into the DC to DC charger, charging my batteries. So what I just showed you is going from here, Weymouth, to Roscoff, and that was you know, a day and a half at sea. I did most of it at night time. But when I talk about going through the bay, going across the Bay of Biscay, it's a totally different matter. I've got to come round here through this tidal race here, which is a bit scary. I can pull in at Brest and stop and think. There's another traffic separation area over here, you can see. It's where all the boats get channeled through. But then the Bay of Biscay, woo, winding right back. It's a bit of a different topic, because you're going from here all the way down to northern Spain, which is Vivero. I could go round to A Coruña, but Vivero is somewhere I've been before. The reason why I say I've been before is because last year I did a training sail with a company of expert sailors. There was 8 of us, I was included, and we went from Falmouth here all the way across and round to Vivero last year. But I was on a crew of 8 people, and I slept you know, every evening, and did my shift, of course. But this is actually 4 days, so 3 nights through the night, and 1 full day. The other option is actually to where I am now, Roscoff, come around here and kind of bounce through all of this here on the Atlantic coast of France. But then I've still got something like a 2-day sail, because this is the North Spanish coast. There's no places to pull in here, so from over here somewhere I've still got a long sail. You can see how long it is. It's almost the width of the Biscay to get to Vivero. So kind of it's as long as it's short, if you know what I mean. Whatever happens, I've got to do something, and with the weather being really good at the moment, I just think I might just go for it. I've seen lots of videos of sailors doing it, so it's inspired me. And why not? You only live once, don't you? And I could drown, so what? So Roscoff, why have I come to Roscoff? It's because it's a preferred port of entry, which means that they can do all the officialdoms that are required for my entry into the EU, and also stamp the animal health certificate that I need for my cats, Ralph and Chesney. You can go to other ports of entry that have got designation to deal with the paperwork, but they have less status, and sometimes the offices of those are, you know, way away from the marine and that kind of thing. So I've come to one of the biggest ports to be able to sort of start off. And why have I come to Roscoff? Well, why didn't I just go across to Cherbourg from Weymouth, which is like a day's sailing or less? Well, it's because I'm cutting the corner. Remember, I'm trying to do the Brexit dash in 90 days to the Med, which means that any time that I can save is going to be good. So actually going directly from Weymouth, cutting across the whole of Brittany to the end of the tip of Brittany to Roscoff was a good idea to save some time. But here we are, and it's a great place actually, because the marina is really good. It's got great facilities, you know, a large office with all of those sorts of things that you need Wi-Fi and electric, laundry, showers, all that kind of stuff. But it also has great boat facilities as well. So there's a lift out crane, and there's all the facility providers in those buildings at the back there to enable you to get anything done that you want. So yeah, it's one of those places that's got a really big marina, that's facilitized, it's safe, the moorings are good, we're not bobbing around, and it's an ideal place to set off. So I'm going to go back to the boat now, have my lunch, and see what's next on the plan. Well folks, I'm all checked into the Grand European Union for 90 days. Actually, it's not 90 days. It takes you a day to screw around to check in, so that's a day, and another day to screw around to check out. So actually, it's not 90 days really. It's only 88 days to be fair. And by the way, you can't stay in longer, and if you do, you get fined, and possibly you're not allowed back in, and all kinds of problems. So you've got to get out. And how long have you got to get out for? Yes, you've got to get out for 90 days, 3 months. So that's 3 months with the boat either moored up and I fly back to the UK and do something, or twiddle my thumbs in somewhere like Morocco that's out of the EU, and then back in again. But amazingly enough, I'm the same person that went in 90 days before. So it's a crazy rule. A neighbour of mine, an Irish guy, he sailed across from Ireland all the way to Portugal. He's got none of these problems. Why? Because he's got an EU passport. But us Brits, no, we have to manage this crazy 90-day Schengen rule, which has put so many people off sailing into the Mediterranean. It's really ruined the kind of pleasure sailing to the Med idea and industry. So I'm trying to do it, and I'm going to document how I get on, and the trials and tribulations. However, checking in with the douane to Roscoff, customs here was completely painless, including the stamps on my cat's Chesney and Ralph's animal health certificate. One of the crazy facts is that an animal health certificate means that Ralph and Chesney can stay in the EU longer than I can. They can stay in 120 days as a pet before they have to have their re-registration. So the kind of the EU, UK, border control, blah, 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 is all really screwed up. But anyway, look, I'm going to try and see how I get on in each country. It's going to be a race. Why is it a race? Because there are so many lovely ports to see in France, in Spain, in Portugal, but I've actually only got 3 months, so I can't linger. I've got to race to each spot, have a look, and then move on. Otherwise, I'm going to run out of time, which makes the whole experience extremely frustrating and a bit saddening, to be honest with you. Anyway, off we go. Well, the Pen Air Bar has just served me a nice glass of cold French beer, and these two boys, look, come out for a walk with me in the buggy. I think Ralph's feeling rather tired. Yeah, he's all snuggled up there on my coat. And Ches, he's doing a lot of meowing. I think he wants to go for a walk, don't you, bub? Yeah, so we'll take him a walk on the lead. It's a beautiful day here, actually, the middle of October in Roscoff Marina, and I just thought I'd just show you the nice facilities, the marina office, and then the sea break wall over there, and then beyond the marina. And yeah, it's a beautiful day. So I'm going to check out what I need to do to set sail again. Here's a little report. know what's the matter with the AIS, but mine's working on the chart plotter. I think something is not right there. I noticed that some other ships are almost like sort of dark in their colour rather than the bright colour. That means that they're not live, and mine has become one of those. I don't know why that is. Anyway, I've had a kind of an okay night. I felt very nauseous in the middle of the night because I was down below trying to take a nap. Got the sails on about 20%, and that enabled me to kind of turn the speed down on the boat, if you like, just get a bit of kip. But yeah, it was cold as well. But I've woke up to sunshine. As you can see, it's glinting across the seas there, and it's the wind's good. I've got a nice what they call beam reach, which is it means that the wind is blowing across the side of the boat, and that's the fastest config. So I'm going to increase the size of the sails, probably put another 10-15% on. I don't want to go too quick because the sea's rocky, and all it does is turn your boat into a fairground ride, so I don't want to do that. But I would like to make a bit more progress than the 3 knots I'm doing at the minute. I've been doing 3 knots since about midnight last night, which is not very quick. It's like a sort of just a walking speed. So yeah, now I've had my breakfast, and I'm all ready to go to set the sails up and see if I can make some cracking progress, as they say. Here's a bit of a report. It's I think 7:30 in the evening, still a little bit light, but the seas have got up and it's quite cool. It's got about 1.5 metre swell, and I've got sails up, I've only got 20% up, which is just enough to stabilise the boat. We're only going about 3 knots because I've got the tide against me, so the tide's doing 3 knots, I'm doing 3 knots, so I'm kind of going nowhere fast, but it's going to be a bit of a rough night. I'm hoping to get my head down and just sleep a little bit, so I'm going to stay on station. Well folks, I'm halfway across the Bay of Biscay, and it's not been out without its events as normal. Coming round the corner of Brest at the end of Brittany, it was very, very rocky, very tidal, and it was a real sort of bucking bronco kind of ride, but after about 3 hours that settled down, and in the evening it was fairly calm seas. I'm about halfway across now, and the weather's kind of turned in my favour. It's sunny, the sea state is moderate, and I'm doing between sort of 5 and 7 knots depending on the gusts. I've got the full sail up, and we have beautiful sun reflection, and we're just cruising along. I've got about another 10 hours worth of daylight in front, and I'm going to be getting some rest because I've spent quite a lot of time sitting up watching for ships on the AIS system and avoiding the tankers and the cruise ships, which is a bit unnerving, so you can't sleep or rest while those are around, and the only thing to do is just to sit and wait for them to go past, and then I can close my eyes for half an hour. That's what I've been doing. So all's well, and we're on the last half of the journey. Still got probably 2 days sailing to go before I hit A Coruna or the northern coast of Spain, depending where I decide to head to. See you soon. Crossing the Bay of Biscay on Saturday morning, and right now it's around midday on Tuesday, and I've got probably about 70 or so nautical miles to go, which takes me into the early sort of 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning before I get into A Coruña. But that's okay. I've got a mooring sorted out. They've sent me a plan, and I've got good spotlights, so I can just chug in and moor up somewhere if I can't find exactly, just until the morning, and then move into the right place. Sea state at the minute is pretty choppy, but we've got a good wind, about 23 knots, so we're cracking on doing between 6 and 7 knots. I'm strapped in the helm, which is the best place to be, because I've wandered about trying to make cups of tea and things like that, and it's been more dangerous. I've got thrown around and bashed my head and nearly broke my arm, I think. So I'm happy to be back in the cockpit, which is the best place. Trip's not been without a bit of drama though, because about 20 hours in, there was a doldrum, so I started the engine and motor for about 3 hours with no wind whatsoever, and then the engine started to smoke, and quite clearly I'd got some blockage there in the raw water system again. Anyway, I thought, oh my goodness me, you know, I've got to figure out how to get into the marina, sail in or something like that. But then I come up with this grand idea of running the hot tap very, very slightly. That means that the fresh water is heating up the clarifier and dissipating the heat through that. And I've got 170 litres of water, so I can run the motor for about half an hour to get into the marina without cooking the engine. I did actually go down and struggle to get the cap off the raw water filter, and what did I find? Well, jellyfish, loads of them. Honestly, it was just like a jellyfish dessert in there, but they were all blocking up the bottom of the filter, so there was no water getting through. Now I do hope that once I've got rid of those little critters, when I get into some calmer water, I'll fire up the engine and hopefully we'll get water gushing out. If not, I've got to do my turn on the hot tap like a dribble and potentially cook the engine to get into the marina. But let's see how we go. So I keep getting this beep beep alarm on this device up here, and I just cancel it. But if you look at the wheel is being steered by the autopilot, which is a motor, linear motor down below. And I think maybe because the seas are a bit rough, when that's struggling, it's maybe giving that alarm. That's the only thing I can think of. Anyway, I've got that big fat lithium battery if I get in trouble. What is amazing here at A Coruña is the way all of these buildings are all in their white. They go right the way around the marina, or the harbour as it was, but it's a real kind of stylized thing. And here's a lovely people in the marina office who've been very helpful and checked me in. And then here is the marina, and over there, look, nestling on the edge is pretty mystique. Look, looking great, sparkling in the sunshine. So I'm going to go over now, pick up Chesney and Ralph, and we're going to go for a coffee. In amongst the beautiful historic buildings of A Coruña, there's lots of really lovely tree-lined walkways, and this is a typical one here that takes me around the marina, and I'm heading towards the chandlery for an exploration trip. But it's really a beautiful place, and shows a lot of history and community development, should I say, over the centuries. Beautiful historic statues, and of course surrounded by palm trees and a beautiful blue sky. What more could you want on your nice walk out in the afternoon in Spain? Wow, what an experience. I've just been in an Aladdin's Cave Spanish chandlery and bought an oversized water filter for my raw water, plus all the piping and everything like that. And the Spanish guy was an engineer and I'm an engineer, so we kind of had an affinity with the problem that I'd got with getting the whole filter full of jellyfish. But they were really helpful, and it really was an Aladdin's cave. So just thought I'd show you around his gaff here. Everything that you need. A real good find. A Coruña has saved the day. So I bought the strainer and some electrical parts and some other bits and pieces, and it can even get me some batteries and stuff like that for a quick short time. So I'm really happy going away with a bag of bits and a job to do to put it all together. And hopefully I've actually got some clear pipe as well, so I can actually see whether I've got water flow coming through, which is the most important thing, because with the solid rubber hoses that I've got no idea whether I've got flow unless I take them off. So with the clear plastic tube, I'll be able to see whether I've got flow in the raw water system, which is essential, otherwise you overheat. During my stay I managed to see an illusionist show, which was fabulous. and also Swan Lake at the Opera House. So rich culture in A Coruna, and also on this Saturday they had an inclusion and diversity day, which was great. There were literally thousands of people all dressed up and celebrating the inclusion of everybody that's born to the world. So I really enjoyed that. It was really vibrant and had that great kind of salsa feel all the way through the day, and people really enjoying themselves, especially children, etc. So that was really lovely. One of the great places in A Coruna is the ham specialist, or El Pinar ham specialist, which is one of these tiny little backstreet places that does the most fantastic plates of cured meats, cheese and great wine. And joining me today is Ralph and Chesney, plus a whole host of tourists that absolutely are adoring the experience of seeing two cats on the street. So anyway, I'm going to tuck into my great dinner. I just thought I'd show you my emergency off-grid power supply, which is a petrol generator, and you can see down there below is the normal plug into shore power, which I've got plugged in at the minute, but I've also got this generator with a hook up there. You can see it's plugged into the back, and then I've got a standard shore power plug-in that I can plug into the back of the boat, so I can be remote and at anchor and still have power, in addition to the solar panel and obviously running the engine with the alternator. But this is a nice device. It's actually electric start, very quiet, very light, and it runs for 11 hours on one tank of petrol. Obviously you've got to carry the petrol, but I carry the petrol for the outboard, so it's not really too much of a problem. But that's a great solution. Of course, having plenty of diesel on your boat is a real confidence builder. So having a full tank and then some jerry cans is kind of important to me, just so that I know I've got enough to get myself out of trouble. So having my festival buggy is really key. It means that I'm going to get provisions from the supermarket, I'm going to get diesel, and I've just filled up at this petrol station here in the middle of La Coruna, and just going to take this back. The tanks are already full, so So this is all about just keeping 40 or 60 litres of diesel just in case. Well, it's kind of my last day, or should I say last few days now in A Coruna. I've been here a lot longer than I wanted to, and it's because of another storm that's set in behind Amy. So I had a few days of nice weather when I crossed the Biscay, and a few nice days here to enjoy, and then the storm set in and it's been raining, blowing a gale. The boat's been bobbing around and it's been very, very uncomfortable. We're snatching mooring lines and very, very uncomfortable. But I'm waiting now for the weather to turn. The wind's down, but you look at the swell, and the swell's up to 6-7 meters. So that's a real danger, isn't it? Because you can be lured into thinking that you've got nice, gentle weather, but the sea state up to 6-7 meters swell is not something I want to enter into. So I'm going to be here a few more days, but I've actually checked out of A Coruna, and as long as I stay in the marina with my Q flag, I'm waiting for the weather to turn, which is kind of okay, and that just saves me a few days. But that 8 days that I've been in A Coruna has really eaten into my Brexit allowance, so I'm keen to go.